Joe the backup and not Shedeur?
Yeah, Joe's the backup.
Was there, along with changing to Dylan, was there any conversation at all about moving Shedeur up to number 2 and making him?
My focus is on this game. Joe's the backup.
Listen, I don't understand why you can't push Shedeur as your QB2. That's me personally. I don't get that part. And here's the reason I'm saying that. Flacco knows Father Time has caught up to him, that he's not what he used to be. Yep. He's happy to be on an NFL roster to contribute in any way that he possibly can. He knows that he's a stopgap for the young guns coming up the rear. He knows that. So there's nothing wrong with putting him at the QB3 spot.
When Shedeur does anything, it's always critique. Mm-hmm. What I don't like is you may not be able to relate to what he's doing or how he's doing it, but you can't control and make it be what you want it to be, because it's not that.
The conversation surrounding Shedeur Sanders has taken yet another sharp turn, and this time Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, is at the center. Stefanski recently made a daring statement at a news conference that shocked the sports community. He stated that Shedeur Sanders is not a candidate to be Dillon Gabriel's backup quarterback. Instead, Gabriel has taken Joe Flacco's job, which has many fans and pundits scratching their heads. Why would Stefanski pick Flacco, who has had trouble lately, over Sanders, who is young and gifted? Many have questioned whether there is more going on here in light of this change. Is Stefanski intentionally attempting to prevent Shedeur Sanders from starting at quarterback? Given all the excitement surrounding Sanders' prospects, observers are baffled by this choice. When Stefanski mentioned putting in Joe Flacco, the backup quarterback, Cam Newton didn't hold back. He publicly attacked the Browns head coach, saying that Shedeur Sanders was not receiving fair treatment. Newton, who understands the rigors of playing quarterback in the NFL, stated unequivocally that he is correct to raise concerns about Sanders' treatment. Newton claims that this is an unprecedented situation. Third-string quarterback and fifth-round pick Shedeur Sanders has attracted a level of fan devotion uncommon for a player in his position. Despite being a rookie and a very low-profile position, Newton noted that Sanders is the only quarterback in NFL history to receive such a strong crowd response.
Person, not be a starter, not be second string, third string
QB,
a fifth-round pick, have this much.
Another commenter on the dispute, Stephen A. Smith, brought up an important point. Does Shedeur Sanders' position on the depth chart actually matter as little as some people claim? He vehemently disagreed, contending that it is crucial, particularly in light of the dynamics at play. Stephen A. noted that Sanders was selected 144th in the draft because of the perception of his father's influence in the league, not because he lacked talent. In light of this, Stephen A. underlined that we must carefully consider Sanders' placement on the depth chart. He implied that the Browns, in particular, are still trying to manage the conversation about Sanders and how the public, media, and other clubs perceive him. It's not as easy as choosing who will support whom. It's a declaration. And according to Stephen A., we cannot afford to overlook it.
Shedeur Sanders' case, 144th overall, it mattered. Yep. You know that, Peter. You know that, Swag. It matters because it was Shedeur Sanders, and we got the impression that it wasn't just football, it was something about his dad. So what I'm saying to you is that we're beyond all of that now to some degree, and we get that part, but that doesn't mean the residue doesn't still exist in terms of people wanting to control the narrative when it comes to that young man.
Maintaining Shedeur Sanders in third place on the depth chart, according to Stephen A. Smith, isn't about football strategy. He maintained that the Browns' attempt to quell the mounting clamor about Sanders is the real reason for this action. The organization appears to be attempting to manage the story and keep any distractions from overshadowing the squad, while an increasing number of supporters desire to see him play. That won't stop the supporters from wondering why Sanders isn't getting an opportunity to play, though, as Stephen A. noted. Fans are not giving up and the pressure is mounting. They want answers, and the criticism will only get more intense as long as Shedeur stays out of the spotlight. Stephen A. Smith stated unequivocally that the Cleveland Browns are under increasing pressure every day. Smith underlined that Shedeur Sanders can no longer be disregarded as the team's offensive issues get worse. There's no way you can keep ignoring a talent like Sanders with everything going on in Cleveland, he remarked. Smith believes the Browns will eventually be forced to give Sanders a chance due to the rising expectations and the team's pressing need for a lift. One conclusion can be drawn from the team's poor on-field performance, mounting crowd pressure, and media coverage. Sanders is entitled to get started. The Browns will eventually have to acknowledge that Sanders deserves his chance as the issue reaches a critical point.
That into consideration. That's why we know we're going to see him, because we know that pressure is mounting. The more inept they are offensively, the less of an excuse you're going to have to submerge him. If you got Dylan Gabriel, you're going to throw him out there.
Sanders has stated that being shelved is no longer part of his strategy, following Stefanski's declaration that he isn't even thinking of Shedeur Sanders as a backup. He is certain that he is talented enough to support his claim that he is prepared for a starting role. Shedeur said that despite his patience thus far, he is upset by the lack of opportunities to establish himself, particularly when he feels he deserves a starting position. We have never heard him voice discontent with his current circumstances before, and it might spark a new controversy if things keep going this way. But the process is still in its early stages, and this story has a lot more to tell. As emotions increase, everyone will be watching to see how the Browns respond to this circumstance and whether Shedeur's annoyance results in any significant adjustments to the depth chart. Shedeur Sanders hasn't held back when expressing his opinion that he's a superior choice to the quarterbacks on the Cleveland team right now. He didn't hold back, even going after Joe Flacco, and he was adamant that he could do better than the others if given the chance. Shedeur has made the audacious assertion that he is superior to some of the NFL's top quarterbacks. Shedeur is annoyed that he is still on the scout team, but he knows that this is an essential step to establish his value and get an opportunity. It is evident that he is committed to making a difference and will stop at nothing to guarantee his spot in the league. His confidence and passion indicate that he won't be giving up anytime soon.
My end goal, I'm just enjoying myself, learning, doing everything I have to do, and just ready for my opportunity.
How frustrating can that be when you look around?
Everybody perspective, so that's not nothing in my place to answer. That's nothing I can't not answer, but I know for sure I'm not. I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that.
In conclusion, analysts no longer support the Cleveland Browns strategy, and the Shedeur Sanders scenario has become a major source of dispute. Many now believe that Stefanski intentionally tried to keep Sanders from securing the starting position too quickly by benching him. What began as a straightforward talent assessment has evolved into a far more extensive discussion about perception, power, and control. Many believe that Stefanski's refusal to even entertain Sanders for the backup position, particularly in light of the media and fan criticism, is an attempt to stifle the emergence of a young, gifted quarterback who may upend the status quo. Shedeur has demonstrated that he is more than willing to accept the challenge. However, it appears that the Browns are reluctant to give him the chance to demonstrate. The team is working to keep him under control, possibly for longer than is required, as the pressure mounts from every angle. But here's where the fans are useful. One should not undervalue the influence of the fan base. It is up to the supporters to keep calling Shedeur's name, demonstrating their unshakable support and letting him know that they think he deserves to play. It will be more difficult for the Browns to ignore the rising demand if the voices are louder. Shedeur Sanders' destiny might ultimately depend on a conflict of wills. The Browns will likely have to decide if the supporters keep supporting him. Shedeur has worked so hard for this moment, and the fans are crucial in ensuring that he gets it. What are your thoughts on this matter? Does Stefanski's choice to hold Shedeur Sanders out of action indicate a more serious problem with the Browns organization, or is it simply a rookie quarterback's natural progression? Do you agree with commentators that the Browns are attempting to stifle Shedeur's ascent, or do you think their decisions have a good reason? Above all, how much of an impact do you believe the fans can have on this situation? Should they keep supporting Shedeur and insisting that he gets a chance? Or is it too soon to make such a significant demand? Tell us what you think. From this point on, the discussion will only get more heated.